Hello, everybody. This is MoveEasy Yoga with our model, our beautiful model. Kathy is on the floor, ready to model. And we're going to start in the ordinary fashion. I forgot to say the date. It is April 6th, 2021. We're going to start just watching your breath, slowing down, bringing your entire being into the room, into the virtual yoga room. Breathing in and out. What does it feel like to know that you have a full hour of yoga ahead of you? Today we're going to work on shoulders, arms and shoulders, neck. I am a student of my body, and I am a student of my breath. So come to class today with a curiosity about your own body and how it moves or doesn't move. Where is it stuck? Curiosity about the breath. How does it feel when I move this way or that? And let's start vagus nerve reset. Everybody knows the variations. I'm not going to repeat them actually. Oh, maybe I should for people who come up to the replay. Okay, you can put your hands behind your head, stack your fingers, interlace your fingers, stack your palms, interlace your fingers, and put your hands underneath your occipital ridge, the back of the skull, or you can put a set of therapy balls there. Whatever you do, don't move, except for your eyeballs. And then shift your eyeballs to the right and wait for an involuntary sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. Your eyes can be open or closed. Shifting the eyeballs shifts the occipital nerve, which triggers a reset of the vagus nerve. Come on back, shift your eyeballs to the left. And wait for an involuntary sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. You don't have to effort it or will it. It just happens when the reset happens. Come back to center. Do this 2 more times. Right, left, without my cueing. And finish up. We're going to move to head ramping. This is actually the beginning of our shoulder, neck and shoulder work. Head ramping. Your hands can stay there. You could put a therapy ball underneath your head. Whatever you do with your hands in place or your therapy balls in place, just press the back of the skull into the floor, into your hands, into your therapy balls. Press, and the chin drops a little bit because you did that, and the skull, the back of the skull slides up away from your shoulders along the mat. And stay there for a couple of breaths. And then return, release, and start all over again. If you'd like to, you can put your tongue at the top of the seam between your teeth and the front of the roof of your mouth. Push and push the tongue against that area while you press the back of the skull into the floor. And then release, and do it 3 more times. You may get some more yawning happening. One more time. And let's continue with breath work. Let's do the Loma breathing. Your hands can be at your side. The Loma breathing it divides the inhale into 3 parts. So you inhale a third of an inhale, and then pause, and then another third, and then the last third. So inhale, 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 and then exhale normally. One more. And then let's go to hypopressive. Let's come up onto our hands and knees and do the prone hypopressive. Hands and knees, and then drop to the elbows and create a triangle by bringing your hands together. And from here, 3 breaths, and then holding the breath for 15 counts, holding the inhale. No inhale, holding no inhale, although you can actually, without taking an inhale, you can act as if you're taking an inhale. That will actually help spread the rib cage. So 3 breaths, inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, And exhale. Inhale. Last exhale. All the way out. Hold your breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Stay as long as you can. 12, 13, 14, 15. Go ahead and just release everything and drop into a child's pose, just to rest between sets, well, between reps, as they say at the gym. Come back into your position, your prone position. 3 breaths, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Last one, inhale, exhale all the way out. Hold your breath out, no breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Come back into a child's pose. Can start to breathe again. One more hypopressive. Good for everything that ails you. Well, core, incontinence, prolapsed organs, lots of good stuff. Take an inhale and exhale. Good for the respiratory system. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Oh, I've lost count. One more inhale. And one more exhale. All the way out. Hold your breath out, no breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And come back into a child's pose, just to transition. Go ahead and lie on your back, or we're going to do some shoulder movements. The first thing I want you to do on your back is do a test of your rotation of the cervical spine. This means just to look right and look left. So look right and look left. Imagine this is the movement that you need when you're driving and you want to look back over your shoulder. Well, I don't know, they have all these new fangled features where you don't have to do this, but you might still want to do it to keep your cervical spine juiced up. Look left, look right. See what that's like at the end of the class, towards the end of the class. We'll do it again and see what it's like then. The next thing I want you to do is, this is a shoulder opener, range of motion for the shoulder that I learned actually when I broke my arm. So take you stay here in this this position that Kathy's in with her knees bent, feet on the floor, and then put your arms One or both. I guess let's do both. Not there, Kathy. Put it under your hips. Put your arms under your hips.
That one. Okay.
Okay, so put your arm under your hip or higher. The variable is how high you put your arm. It's a bent elbow position. And then how far in also. So this depends on you. How far underneath your back is your arm going? And you can do both arms at the same time. If it's hard to do both, just do one, and then you can do the other later. So, but find your perfect position. You should already be feeling this in the shoulder. And now just take both knees and drop them to the right. More, you should feel more in the right shoulder at that point. And then bring your knees up and drop to the left. And then just keep doing this. Back and forth. Hold on, well, I'll do that later. Back and forth. If we have trouble with reception, let me know because I don't have the Ethernet cable plugged in, and I could plug it in. I'm not going to bother until I know that there's a problem. So knees together, ankles together, drop to one side. And if you aren't feeling anything, go ahead and bring your arms up, hands up closer to your shoulders or farther in. Or try one at a time and see if you can have more. It's easier to think about whether you're feeling anything or not. If you're doing just one side, then just drop the knees just to that one side. And you might want to stay and breathe. Switch to the other side, the other arm, and then drop your knees to the other side. And now come out of that, and we'll do the one that Kathy started to do in the first place, which is, it's a deltoid stretch. It's a modification or an adaptation of the one where you take your arm across your body and press it into your body. But instead of doing that, we're going to just bend the elbow and hold on to the opposite shoulder and then pull the elbow across your body towards the other side. Now, if you don't feel anything here, straighten your arm and do the old-fashioned way, which is actually a little harder for people. I think this one is a very gentle way to start to stretch both the armpit and the deltoid, the outer part of the edge of the shoulder. And just play with it. Stay here for a while and breathing and becoming curious about what this is and what it does. Where do you feel the stretch, the pull, the tug, the difference? Switch sides. Bend your left elbow, hold on to the opposite shoulder, and pull the bent elbow towards the opposite shoulder. If your arm is more flexible, you may want to try the straight arm version of this. Just stay here and breathe. Be curious. Be aware. Breathe into it. Let's do one more set, right side first. Other side. One side may feel different than the other. Be curious about that. Make a note of that. And then come on up to seated, floor seated, not chair seated. Where we're going to work on the mid traps. I think I've done this with you before. You're seated in a cross-legged position. And go ahead and just shrug your shoulders. Shrug up, so bring them up. You can bring them as high up as you can, and then let them drop and shrug again. So the muscles you're using at the top are the trapezius muscles, the upper trapezius. Release. And now you're going to release, sit in a normal position, and focus on the right scapula and depress it. So depress it down, and then think of depressing it down towards the opposite hip pocket. So you're depressing the scapula down and then a little bit in towards the pocket. If you want to, you can put so you're doing right scapula, you could put your left hand on the bottom, take it behind your back, and try to touch the bottom tip of the scapula before you move it down. Some people can't do this. So the other version is no fingers touching the scapula. Just do it a couple times. It's a very powerful movement strengthener for the mid traps, which are sadly neglected. Actually, it's that old mid and upper back stuff. And then switch sides, do the other side. Remember, you can try to touch the bottom of the triangle that is the scapula, if you can get there. But otherwise, just do it without. Depress the scapula, down, 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 and then think of bringing it down towards the other hip pocket. This actually just is an exaggeration that helps locate and strengthen the mid traps. If you take your time, if you hold, you should feel what's happening here. That it should be quite dramatic, actually. Be sure you're sitting tall in a good posture position. Go ahead and shake it out, shake your shoulders, and then switch sides. We'll do it again, one more set. So right scapula, remember the scapula is a triangular shape. It's flat across the top, and then this is the tip of it. We're taking the tip of the scapula down, first down towards the floor, and then down a little bit towards the other side of the body, the hip pocket on the other side. This is This is work. This is strengthening work for the mid-trapezius. Just stay here and breathe and enjoy. Be aware of what is happening. Be curious about what's happening. And then release if you haven't already. Go to the other side. So you might wear out fatigue. If you fatigue before I say come out early. Just listen to your own body. Don't be as curious about what I'm saying as what your body is doing. What is my body doing while she's talking? And then come on out of that. And if you want to, you can kind of round forward, just a small round at the upper back where you've been working, just to do it. Stretch it out a little bit. Now I'm looking for my strap because we're going to do strap work. We're going to do the strap one that I screwed up last time. Last time I did it. So I'm hoping that you guys will all, I'm going to read place your strap over the left shoulder. I'm read my directions. If they're wrong, then I'm really in trouble. Bring your left arm behind your back and grab the lower part of the strap.
Okay, hold on. I think it's left arm up. It's over the left.
Bring your left arm behind your, I see, oh.
The right arm is behind the back.
And across.
Yes.
Well, maybe that's the problem.
That might be.
Get my instructions. So you're saying that the right hand is behind and then the left arm is up. Okay. Right arm behind your back to grab the lower part of the strap, and bring your left arm up to grab the upper part of the strap behind your neck. Well, that's garbage in, garbage out. I wrote them down wrong. Okay. And while you're here, you just tug on the strap at both ends to create some tension. You should feel it. I'm feeling it in my right shoulder. And then you can also start to move the strap up and down. Back rub, strap back rub. This is similar to the work we did on the floor, the first position we did on the floor, trying to get more range of motion in the right shoulder, actually, in this case. Now, let's repeat that on the other side. So put the strap on the right. Now, if the strap is on the right, then bring the left arm behind your back to grab, and then the right hand is up. And now you're going to tug. Some people will be able to move the strap. Some people will just tug both ends, though. Tug both ends if you can't move. The tall, rub-a-dub-dub. Maybe that's what I'll call this, rub-a-dub-dub. And now that we got good at it, let's switch to the other side. We'll repeat this. Strap on the left. Right arm behind and low. Left arm up. Both of them holding onto a strap. Yeah. Pull on the strap, both ends of the strap, and move it if you can. Otherwise, just pull. Switch sides, last one. Strap on the right shoulder, left arm behind your back. The right arm high, grab the top of the strap and pull. Tug. It can be isometric. You can not be moving the strap at all, or you can move the strap up and down. And then go ahead and release. Switch your legs. If you haven't already, switch your legs into some other position. If you stay cross-legged, just switch the cross of the legs. You could come into another seated position if you want. The next thing we're going to do is just a cervical side bend. We're going to do two different versions, one with resistance after we do the one without resistance. Just drop, and within each of them, two different positions. So drop your right ear to your right shoulder. I'm going to time this for 30 seconds. Hold on. Right ear to right shoulder. And then go ahead and drop your chin a little bit so you feel a different stretch. Drop your chin towards your chest. Come on up slowly. Chin and then cervical spine. Left ear, left shoulder. Stay here and breathe. What is this like? What's it like? How far can you get? You feel the stretch. Where is it stretching? Go ahead and drop the chin. Find a different stretch, different location on the neck. Bring your chin up and then bring your cervical spine up to neutral. We're going to do this again, but we're going to, it's totally different actually, but we're going to do it again with an arm on top of the head and a resistance piece. So drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Put your right hand up on the opposite ear. Now, actually, people who aren't using resistance will just stay here and use the weight of the head and the hand to do a little more intense stretch than we did before. But we're going to do something different than that. You're going to press your head up and your ear up into your hand. And now start. So adding some resistance. It should be a totally different stretch. And when we switch to a chin drop, I'm going to have you stop completely. I don't want you to have weight on your head when you're doing that. So go ahead and release your hand from your ear, drop your chin, put your hand back on your ear, and now we'll continue pressing a back up into the ear back up into the hand. Cervical side bend with resistance. And release. The chin comes back first and then the head. Be careful, everybody. So the cervical spine is to be treated gently. Left head, left ear, left head, left ear, left shoulder. And your hand comes up, remember, and then you create some resistance. So you're pressing your hand, your ear and your head into your hand. Okay, chin first and then cervical spine. So come back gently out of this, one piece of it at a time. And now before we do anything else, how are we doing on time here? Before we do anything else, let's do a Scm Sternocleidomastoid massage. So what this is, there's a muscle at the side of your neck that gets very tight. And so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to massage that muscle. So the first thing you're going to do is look to the left so that you can feel the right muscle, the right sternocleidomastoid. It's a big muscle. You may get a nerve too, but try to avoid the nerve, just the muscle. You're grabbing at it. So you turned all the way to the left so you could find that. Turn back a little bit towards the center so you can do your work. Starting at the bottom, just massaging that muscle, pulling on it, tugging, and climbing up all the way. It goes all the way to the ear. SCM is called. And it may be there, you may feel a lot of tension here in this muscle. Tugging and pulling, grabbing all the way up to the ear, or well, you won't be able to get to the ear, but it goes to the ear. You won't be able to get there, just under the ear. And then you can come all the way back down, just poking, pinching, pulling, grabbing. For some people, this will be quite sore. You're also getting at the scalene muscles, which are sort of behind the SCM. So you're massaging those and releasing those too. Okay, finish up. And look to the right. Find the sternocleidomastoid on the left. Bring your head back a little, back forward a little. And start at the bottom, grabbing, pulling, massaging the SCM. Being curious, I grabbed one part and it released back up in here near the clavicle. So all sorts of things can happen here. Pull. Breathe, be curious, what's here? All the way up as high as you can get. And then when you're up the top, you can just start working your way down again. And then let that go. And now we're going to do this Saran wrap exercise along the front of the neck. So you're going to put your hands on your neck. Don't choke yourself. Put your hands on your neck. Start pulling down as if you were spreading Saran wrap along your neck. Pull down. You're not moving your hands much, just pulling down and then looking up and grimacing. So bringing your jaw forward. And grimacing and staying here. Don't choke yourself. It's less than that. Grimacing, Marlon Brando look. Nobody's looking. Keep pulling down. Keep grimacing. Release and cross your hands again in the other direction. So whatever hand was on top is on the bottom. And then start pulling on your Saran wrap in front of your neck like you were covering a bowl or something. Pulling down and then grimacing, jutting your chin out like Marlon Brando. And still pulling. And then releasing. And then standing, coming to standing. Why don't we do a little bit of work along the chest and the clavicle? Get a brick and a small or a big therapy ball. You're going to face the wall. Put your ball at the corner where the pec minor attaches to the arm bone.
Okay, hold on.
So the ball is on that place, and then you're facing the wall, and there's a brick in front of you. So there's the brick first, and then the ball, and then pec minor. If you have trouble, you can have a small brick or a large brick. If you have a lot of boobage, maybe a large brick.
Boobage is a technical term.
Boobage is very technical. And then just pressing in. The first thing you're going to do is just compress. Press into this point. What is this? This is a place that you hold a lot of tension, especially if you're rounding forward. You're rounding forward, if your shoulders are rounding forward, if your head is rounding forward, jutting forward. This is a place that you need to release to counteract that. And now just start bending your knees and straightening them to go up and down over that ball. If it's hard for you to do at the wall, I'm doing a version of this just seated. Because I can't be at the wall and manage the class at the same time. And then try to come back to straighten your legs and then do a little side to side movement. It's not much. We're going to do a much larger one in a minute. And notice you could do some arm work. You could, instead of moving the ball, you could move your arm out in a circle, or you could move it out behind you, or you could move it in front of you. So there's all sorts of, remember in therapy ball work, you're either compressing, you're moving the body over the ball, or you're moving an appendage and the ball is still. Any one of those is effective myofascial release. Now, I'm going to sneeze. Achoo. Okay, now take the ball and you're going to put it just underneath the outside edge of the clavicle, underneath the clavicle, and you're going to roll the ball along underneath the clavicle all the way to the sternum. So you can do this facing the wall, just rolling, navigating across the brick. The ball rolls towards the center of your chest, the sternum, and then it comes all the way back. And the ball should be underneath the clavicle or the collarbone. Popular name, collarbone. After you've done that couple times, switch sides, everybody. And put the ball in the corner of the edge of the pec minor and the arm bone, where pec minor meets the arm bone. And then just compress. And then start moving, bending your knees up and down. So the ball moves up and down. And then side to side, just a small movement side to side. Then remember, you can try some arm movements. The ball isn't moving, your arm is moving. Maybe in a circle, maybe a little, bend your elbow, touch your shoulder, half shoulder clock. Maybe arm comes behind the back. Maybe arm comes up, a little technical snow angel on one side. Just use your imagination. Arm work. Arm work, ball work. And then finally, take the ball up underneath the clavicle to the outside edge of the clavicle, and then roll it along the brick. Remember, if this is too complex, you can just sit and roll the ball along underneath the edge of the clavicle, back and forth, all the way to the shoulder, all the way to the sternum, and back and forth. And then finish that up. We're going to stay standing, and we're going to do something that's called shoulder clock at the wall. So with your right shoulder to the wall, yes, and then bring your arm up in front of you, straight out in front of you, and palm facing and on the wall. Palm is on the wall, on the wall. And now try to have your chest straight forward. This is the hardest part. And that may require you actually to be away from the wall a little bit. And then take your arm up by your ear. You're crawling along the wall though. It's crawling, crawling, crawling up by the ear. And then all the way behind you, behind your back, as far as you can go. So this is a wall shoulder clock. Obviously, it does totally different things than a sideline shoulder clock. All the way back, see how far back you can get. Keep your arm straight, and you may have to move away from the wall. Keep your chest straight. That's the hardest part, or as straight as you can. And now come back, crawl back the wall. What you want to do is stay as close to the wall as you can and still keep your headlights forward. And then go ahead and stop that and switch sides. So this should be a challenge. I'm not saying it's not a challenge. If it's not a challenge, come closer, bring your body closer to the wall. Crawl your fingers all the way back. And now bring them all the way forward. And try to keep your chest and your hips forward the whole time. And then stop that. You can shake your arms if you want. Face away from the wall. We're going to do this very much more familiar back bend at the wall. So standing facing away from the wall, and then bring your arms up and over. And I'm going to time this 40 seconds, bone building pose. Chest opener, back extension. Lucky you. Try to breathe, try to be curious about what happens to your body when you do this. Come on down, and we're going to do a spine twist. Starting on the right shoulder at the wall, facing forward, right, the chest, the hips are facing forward, and then the arms bend and rotate the spine towards the wall. And breathe. So the hips are facing one direction and the chest is facing the other. What does this feel like? Be curious. Your head can move if you want, can move and be in any direction. Go ahead and switch sides. Spine twist on the left. Left leg forward, right leg back. Bend your elbows. Rotate towards the wall, to the left. Stand tall. Breathe. And come on back. And before we go to the floor, and we'll do this again after we go to the floor, because it occurs to me maybe that's a better test, but the retest is to stand here and look right and look left. And look right and look left. And there's no right or wrong answers, just is there a difference between the beginning of the class and the end of the class? Or maybe you're just more aware of your neck and the muscles in your neck and the bones in your neck. Come on down to the floor, and before you settle yourself into a supine shavasana position, do the same thing, because that's what we started out with, was a supine cervical spine rotation. So that might be a better test or a better retest. So before you get all settled in, but on your way to being settled in as you're supine, look right, look left. Ask yourself if you can remember what it felt like the first time you did this at the beginning of class. What does it feel like now? Would it be easier for you to look out the rear view, out back behind you in the car? Not the rear view mirror, not the digital map. Just that, make a note of that, and then find your way into a comfortable, warm position for Yoga Nidra 61-point guided meditation. I'm going to lead you through some 61 body parts for awareness purposes only. Just bring your awareness to the part that I mentioned, starting with the breath, breathing in and out, and watching the belly rise and fall as you do. And then bring your awareness and attention to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, knee, ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This completes the 61-point guided Yoga Nidra meditation. Go ahead and start to bring your entire attention back to your entire body and the room around you. Stretch your legs along the mat and your arms overhead. Try to create a little bit more space between your rib cage and your pelvis. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle your wrists and your ankles in one direction and then another. Hug your right knee into your chest, Apanasana, Ardha Apanasana. And hug your left knee into your chest. Hug both knees into your chest and rock your knees from side to side. You should feel a release in the lower back. How far out to the side do I have to go to get some sort of a release, a release? And then roll all the way over onto your side into a fetal position, bottom arm as a pillow, left hand or the top arm, palm pressing into the floor to bring yourself up to seated, to a comfortable seated position. Unmute yourself, everybody. And I will take my view to gallery. You may want to do that too. And we're going to close the class, pressing the palms together strongly first. See if you can find and say hello to some of the movements you did with your shoulders and your neck today. I can feel the scapula work by pressing my hands together firmly like this. Go ahead and release. It's soft now. And then lift the occipital ridge up up towards the ceiling so that you can nod forward. The skull nods over the top cervical vertebra, number one. Nodding, bowing, noticing, acknowledging the light in each of us. And noticing and knowing that we're all one light. We'll end the class bowing to each other like this and saying namaste.
Namaste.
You.
Thank you, everybody.